Hi there, beautiful soul. Welcome. This video is about the ups and downs in recovery and why I think that those things are a very good thing and that we can learn from them, and that I would like to use this knowledge of what happens before the downs and what happens before the ups in my program to help people recover. Now, the first ups and downs is already before the illness. Many people spend decades or years in survival mode. Extreme stress, fight or flight, and that has of course its effect on the body, and it also has its cause. So there was a cause, probably maybe emotional or something else, that was the root of that survival mode. Then there is a period of relative calmness and you feel like there's an up, you feel better, but then out of the blue people feel like they get sick, or very slowly. It's not with everybody the exact same process. Maybe it can be a period of calmness from a few days or from a few months or a year, but that doesn't really matter. Now, the illness then is, in my opinion, more of a letting go process of everything that you need to leave behind, old stressors, and at the same time the body has time to regenerate the things that were working properly in your body while you were in survival mode. So this first shock is actually the calming down phase. That is the first shock that gives the body sort of like, oh my god, what is happening here? And by the end of that phase, where people tell me very often that their mind was going very restless. Now, every shock has some sort of an influence on your body and your health, and you can read more about that in Germanic New Medicine. Then the second shock is symptoms. Your body doesn't function anymore. That's very difficult, especially if you don't understand what is going on. Then there are all kinds of secondary and third stressors there, and third shocks, like having to give up your life, so to speak, your job, your friends, your hobbies, relationships. People move out of your life, and that can cause a lot of grief and extra shocks that the body needs to deal with. And all these shocks can again implement or start the fight or flight response in your body, as all those things are obviously not what you would really want from life. So I think the first shock is already then, of the second shock, the start of symptoms would be better if we can understand what is going on at that moment, and that this healing process that you just started is going to have ups and downs, but it can be much smoother when people really understand what is happening. So, as many of you know, there are good days and bad days, and the bad days are probably in bed. And by the end of the good days, something might have happened that triggered something inside of you, that caused something to rise. Just like in the period of relative calmness, we get into like a higher level of consciousness. We can call it joy, peace, and love instead of fear and anger and survival stress and all these type of states that we are usually in collectively as a society. So it can trigger something that can be released at those moments. So the body thinks, okay, I'm safe now. That is a good space for me to release the fear, just like on a good day or on a bad day. Or on a good day or in the period before CFS. And then that can come up. But as we are so unaware and maybe traumatized as well by our feelings and our bodily sensations, this can cause unconscious resistance and stress towards these feelings, because the resistance against those feelings is has probably been a way to survive. So it has been a coping mechanism, a survival thing, to not feel those difficult things that you are, according to your body, ready for right now to heal. And on a good day, you might as well encounter all kinds of situations that can trigger an emotion inside of you or a feeling inside of you. It can be grief as well, or you might be involved in other coping mechanisms. Maybe you are afraid of the symptoms to come back on a good day. Maybe you're very angry towards the situation. And plus as well, on top of that, being in a good state, having a good day can allow all the negative stuff to rise. So if we can understand this process of ups and downs, and you see always this thing, and then it becomes like sort of back and reverse, how a recovery can look like, then we can understand much better what is the cause of a setback, what is the cause of a relapse, and actually be grateful for it. Although there might be times in a down where there are just a lot of triggers all together and it's all mixed up and it's just all too overwhelming, and there is space for that as well. But if there's only one or two things that can trigger a relapse, or maybe resistance in your body against feelings, or something to rise inside of you, an internal stressor, because most of the stressors that are triggered are already inside of us, then we can work with that. Then that's basically what my recovery program is as well, all about. The alignment recovery program that you can find on my website, danielvanloosbroek.com. That is about getting into a healing space so that negative stuff can come up, so we can release that to get back into a healing state. And then it becomes a wave, the wave of recovery. And then it is actually our intention to release negative stuff. And we're actually happy that negative stuff is released, and we're trying to find it directly. Not just, if a stressor comes up and there is resistance towards it and your body gets into the fight or flight mode and you get symptoms, if you then don't do anything, then your body can keep stuck again in the stress mode for several weeks, and that's very bad for your health, of course, because you're completely wired. So we're actually looking forward for a small amount of stressors to come, and then to give you the tools to find them, to release them, so you can get back into the wave and don't make the down so long. For example, I've had many relapses. The first relapse took like 9 to 12 months, and then the second one 9 months or 6 months. Well, it was always going a little bit faster because I understood more what was needed from me. And going back to life can, of course, trigger everything. Can trigger old behavior, old feelings, similar situations that you've been in, and of course the question, who am I? Who do I want to be? What do I want from life? And recognize coping behavior, recognize difficult situations that you've been in before, and to be able to deal with them differently. And that's as well the name of the podcast that you can find on Spotify. And every month I try to release a podcast. And in the meantime, I'm also releasing meditations regarding to making it more practical to get into a healing state or to release stuff. And the podcast is named Healing Differently. And you can find it on the platforms, but also on my website, where you can find the recovery program. And if my help is really helpful for you, and if the recovery program is really helpful for you, then consider helping me with a donation. I'm really grateful for that, because that allows me to continue my work as well. I wish you a beautiful recovery with beautiful waves of ups and downs, with short downs and beautiful ups. Bye.